For more than a decade, Manchester United have been haunted by one position: goalkeeper. Since the glory days of Edwin van der Sar and the peak years of David de Gea, Old Trafford has lived under what feels like a curse between the posts. De Gea's decline ended in heartbreak, filled with costly errors that eroded his once untouchable aura. Andre Onana was supposed to be the answer, a modern sweeper keeper, yet his United career has been defined by blunders, inconsistency, and penalty nightmares. Even Altay Bayindir, signed to provide competition, has not convinced Ruben Amorim he is ready to command the biggest stage. Football has always carried one truth: defense wins championships. You can have the flashiest forwards in the game, but without a reliable goalkeeper, you will never conquer the highest level. The great United sides of the past proved it. In 1999, Peter Schmeichel was the bedrock of the treble. In 2008, Edwin van der Sar stood tall in Moscow. Both were leaders who made the difference when history was on the line, and that is where Senna Lammens enters the story. At just 23 years old, he is already spoken of as one of Europe's brightest young keepers. The question is simple: can he be the one to finally save Manchester United? So who exactly is Senna Lammens? To many United fans, his name came out of nowhere. He's just 23 years old, born in Belgium, and stands at 6'4". Tall, commanding, and built for the modern game. He has already been described as one of the best in his age group across Europe. Lammens began his career at Club Brugge, where he rose quickly through the youth ranks. At just 19, he was thrown into the Belgian Super Cup final against Genk, when first-choice Simon Mignolet was unavailable. He kept his composure, made key saves, and helped his side lift the trophy. For a teenager, it was a coming-of-age performance, one that showed his temperament under pressure. But his story has an even more remarkable chapter. In the UEFA Youth League against Real Madrid, Lammens went up for a corner in stoppage time. With the last kick of the game, he powered home a dramatic equaliser that sent Club Brugge through to the knockout stages. A goalkeeper scoring against Real Madrid. It was the kind of moment that instantly put his name on the map. Fans and scouts alike noticed not only his ability, but his sheer determination to make an impact, no matter the circumstances. A move to Royal Antwerp followed, where he went from understudy to first choice in just one season. That rapid rise said a lot about his mentality. He is not the type to sit quietly on the bench. He pushes, he competes, and he grows into the role. Lammens is not just a prospect. He has already proven he can deliver in big moments, from penalty saves to commanding his box under pressure. That blend of potential and proven ability is exactly why United believe he could become the long-term solution between the posts. When you strip away the headlines and the transfer talk, the numbers behind Senna Lammens explain why United took the gamble. At Antwerp, he quickly built a reputation as one of the sharpest young shot stoppers in Europe. Last season alone, he saved 4 penalties in the Belgian Pro League, joint top most of any goalkeeper across Europe's top leagues. That is not just luck. Penalties are as much psychological battles as technical ones, and Lammens has already shown the nerve to come out on top. His overall shot stopping stands out as well. Analysts use a metric called post-shot expected goals, or PSXG, which measures whether a keeper saves more than the average goalkeeper would. Lammens finished with a positive differential of plus 14.5. In simple terms, he prevented more goals than expected, a sign of a keeper who consistently makes difficult saves. At 6'4", he is also commanding in the air. His cross-claiming rate is already higher than many established goalkeepers in Europe, which gives defenders confidence to push higher up the pitch. For a manager like Ruben Amorim, who demands an aggressive high-line defence, that presence could be invaluable. Yet the numbers also show areas to improve. His sweeping game is still raw, and while his distribution is solid, it lacks the polish of a seasoned ball-playing keeper. That is why United view him as a long-term project. The talent is there, the ceiling is high, but the question remains: can he translate these numbers to the intensity of the Premier League? For Ruben Amorim, the goalkeeper is not just another position on the team sheet. In his 3-4-3 system, the man between the posts is the foundation of everything. Ruben Amorim wants his defenders to push high, his wing-backs to fly forward, and his midfield to press relentlessly. That kind of structure only works if the goalkeeper behind them is confident, calm, and commanding. This is where Senna Lammens could be the missing piece. His frame and shot-stopping ability give defenders the confidence to hold a higher line, knowing there is a big presence behind them. His growing reputation for saving penalties adds another layer of security in high-pressure moments. Even his strength at dealing with crosses helps Amorim's system, because it allows the defense to step forward rather than sit back and crowd the box. Distribution is the area that still needs development, but Lammens is young enough to adapt to the demands of Ruben Amorim's style. The manager has shown he can mold players to fit his philosophy, and Lammens has the raw tools to become that reliable ball-playing goalkeeper. The truth is simple. Ruben Amorim cannot build his pressing machine without a goalkeeper he trusts. If Senna Lammens develops as expected, he could become the player that allows the system to finally click at Old Trafford. In many ways, Ruben Amorim needs him just as much as United's fans do. No goalkeeper arrives at Manchester United without facing immense pressure. Old Trafford is not a place for quiet development. Every mistake is replayed, every weakness is magnified, and every performance is measured against legends of the past. For decades, the gold standard has been set by giants like Peter Schmeichel and Edwin van der Sar. Both were leaders as much as shot stoppers. They commanded their penalty areas, intimidated strikers, and lifted trophies that defined eras. Even David De Gea, despite his decline, had years where he almost single-handedly kept United competitive. Senna Lammens now steps into that same spotlight. At just 23 years old, he's already being spoken of as the future number one. Fans have seen enough of Onana and Bayindir to know the position is wide open, and many are already calling for the Belgian to start. That kind of expectation can build a career or break it. Old Trafford has not been kind to goalkeepers in recent years. Errors are punished, patience is thin, and confidence can crumble quickly. The question for Senna Lammens is not just whether he has the ability, but whether he has the mentality to withstand the unique pressure of being Manchester United's last line of defence. Manchester United's history shows that success has always started with a goalkeeper. Sir Alex Ferguson understood this better than anyone. In 1999, he had Peter Schmeichel, a force of nature who anchored the treble-winning side. When Schmeichel left, it took years of trial and error before Ferguson finally solved the problem again by signing Edwin van der Sar in 2005. Van der Sar was 34 when he arrived, and many doubted whether he still had the level. Instead, he became the calm presence that delivered 4 Premier League titles and a Champions League crown. And when Ferguson knew Van der Sar's time was nearing an end, he moved quickly to secure David De Gea, a teenager with world-class potential. That smooth handover gave United stability at the back for nearly another decade. The lesson is clear. United thrived when there was a plan, when the transition between goalkeepers was thought out and decisive. That is the context in which Senna Lammens must be viewed. At 23, he is young enough to be developed, but experienced enough to take the step now. The question is whether Ineos have finally rediscovered Ferguson's formula of blending stability with succession. Every signing carries risk, and Senna Lammens is no exception. The Belgian may have impressive numbers and clear potential, but the Premier League is unforgiving. Countless talented players have arrived from abroad only to find the intensity, the speed, and the scrutiny too much to handle. Lammens has never faced the relentless schedule of English football. One mistake at Old Trafford will dominate headlines for days. A shaky start could drain confidence quickly, especially with fans desperate for stability in goal after years of chaos. At 23, he is still learning his craft, and that inexperience could show at the worst possible times. There is also the question of how patient Manchester United will be. Supporters have little appetite for another long experiment in such a vital position. If results dip, pressure will mount on Ruben Amorim to turn back to experience, even if it goes against the long-term vision. This is why the gamble is so fascinating. If Lammens thrives, United may have secured their number one for the next decade. But if he falters, the search for a reliable goalkeeper will begin all over again.
And Lammens is a young guy with a lot of potential, but he's ready also if we need another goalkeeper.
The margin between saviour and scapegoat could not be finer. So can Senna Lammens really save Manchester United? The evidence suggests He has everything you would want in a modern goalkeeper. He is tall, commanding, strong in one-on-one situations, and already has a proven record of saving penalties. At just 23, he represents the kind of long-term project that could finally bring stability to Old Trafford. Yet ability alone will not decide his story. The weight of history, the glare of the spotlight, and the demands of Ruben Amorim's system will all test him in ways he has never experienced before. Old Trafford has broken goalkeepers before, turning promise into pressure and excitement into disappointment. That is why this moment feels so important. If Lammens delivers, United will finally have the foundation they have been searching for since Van der Sar retired. If he falls short, the goalkeeper curse will continue, and the rebuild will be set back once again. For Manchester United fans, the hope is that they have found the right man at the right time. But the question remains, will Senna Lammens become the next great number one? Or will he be remembered as just another gamble that did not pay off?